So coming into the 26-27 season, y'all, Yahoo Sports dropped their top 10 coaches on the hot seat this year. This should be very exciting. I have some coaches on my own that I kind of want to list off. Jeff Lebby for Mississippi State. He should be kind of on the hot seat, see how he does. If he doesn't have a, if he doesn't have over 6 wins this year, you got to look at see what he's doing over there in Mississippi State because he has an in-state rival. You got to compete. You don't have the NIL as Ole Miss and things of that nature, but you still got to compete in that league. Still got to develop the guys, develop the guys you're recruiting, know the guys you're recruiting. That's very important. So in this day and age, you can probably recruit some D2 guys that are worthy in there. You just watch the tape. You got to watch tape, see if they're know ball, if they love ball, things of that nature. Because there's definitely some guys from Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota. Definitely pull some guys out of there. Ferris State. Hey, shout out Lane for what he did. But it seems like Dabo just missed the cut of this list. Dabo, he was in the beginning of the year when he was losing those games, Georgia Tech and LSU. He was on the hot seat early, and those fans were kind of some of the fans, I would say, they were just like, hey, he should be on the hot seat. We should, has Dabo's time passed him? And I feel like it's the national media had a part to play in that too, because Clemson fans from the national media, all they were hearing was, hey, this guy doesn't to conform to the times, and he needs to get with the NIL times and he's too old. I didn't think it was that bad. He said, hey, we're going to trust our guys that we recruit through the high school program and we're going to develop them that way. And I thought that was cool. I loved it. And but in this day and age, it seems like everybody just changed on the dime. Everybody's like NIL, oh, like my school is spending more money than you. Like what happened to just like playing ball and I was better than you? My team was just better. We just dominated, and now it's just like, oh, now LSU, oh, now we have all the money, we gonna spend on our players. Like I get it, it's the culture now, but dang, it changes overnight, homie. So you gotta get with the programs. I gotta get with the times, man. Like, if I'm USC, like I'm a USC fan, like we spend money on our programs and everything. And Lincoln on the hot seat too. Don't sleep now. Like Lincoln, he got some things to prove this year, some big games, but it's like what like it shouldn't be all about money and things of that nature. So I like what Dabo tried to do in his mindset of trying to keep his players, but it just didn't work out. And the fans, they got real restless last year with what went on, and the offensive coordinator and how Cade Klubnik was playing. He's going to the draft now. Let's see where he goes. Ooh. I think he was there for all 4 years of his career, but I think he started two years. So yeah, it's real interesting to see where Cade does. But Clemson, yeah, they're definitely a spot to see what they do this year, and if they can't compete in the ACC, win some games. I know they have Florida State on their schedule. Florida State's in the kind of the down year. Hey, that's a guy you got to talk about now. Florida State and their coach. See, I know he's probably definitely on this list, but yeah. So let's get into number 10. At number 10, they have Bill Belichick at North Carolina, y'all. I really wanted that to work, honestly. I know a lot of people were hating on a lot. I'm an NFL fan. I was an NFL fan first before I got into college football. I won't lie, but a lot of college football fans, they've been watching their whole life, and they kind of knew, hey, this guy probably won't work with the college system. You have to connect with the young guys. How does Bill Belichick? All you see from him is just mimic, not just short answers, just one word sentence answers from him when he's at the podium. And, he's getting older, but he does have a young girlfriend. But his young girlfriend could be an airhead, just going along for the ride. Just seeing it where it takes him. And I don't know if I really want to get into that, but I'll kind of drop a bar here. I guess I got to get into it now. His girlfriend and all that. It's just I'm gonna throw conspiracy out there. I'm just throw it up there in the air, for right now. But Bill Belichick's girlfriend's mom is like some sex thing or whatever, and it's like she owns a sex shop, and it's like you have a daughter, and then her her former boyfriend was older too. And I'm like, if her mom worked in a sex shop and all that, and it's like you see what's going on with this Epstein stuff, and she kind of grew up, like I don't know what her mom was doing when she grew up or what was going on at that time. But she's like, I think her mom's like a millionaire too off the sex shop stuff. So like they got money in the bank. Jordan and them. I'm just saying, bro, like, with these kids and all that you hear, like billionaire parents and, what happens to their kids and all that. And we're here to talk football, though. I'm just saying, yo, picking up what I'm putting down. But anyway, Lincoln Riley with USC for sure. Let's talk about this real quick. Lincoln Riley with USC. I am a big fan of my program. So so last year we had four games that were big games for us. It was Illinois, Notre Dame, it was Illinois, Notre Dame, Oregon, and Michigan. And Lincoln Riley went 1-3 in those games. He lost all three: Notre Dame, Oregon, and Illinois. Those were at the time Illinois was a ranked team, and those teams had everything we wanted. Michigan, I would say it wasn't to Michigan standards. It was a down year for Michigan. Had a freshman quarterback coming in, and we didn't know what was going on with the Sharon Moore and the coaching staff and all the problems they had going on at Michigan at the time. And it's like, that's kind of a layup win for you, Lincoln Riley. They came to your house and you did what you were supposed to do. So hopefully coming into this season, he can keep his job. I know he has Indiana on the schedule, Ohio State, and we'll talk about that Notre Dame's what we did with Notre Dame too. But yeah, Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, some top three big games. Let's see what his record will be in those big games. We still have to go to Wisconsin. We don't know what Wisconsin's going to be this year. You make me wanna. Okay now, and then yeah, so it's gonna be tough for Lincoln Riley this year, and I got a coach in mind. If y'all don't know, if y'all want to hear it, Urban Meyer. If you want to get back in coaching, this is the place for you. Southern California. I know he's gonna get them boys right. There ain't gonna be no softness with the Urban Meyer team. You know that. So, but the but the Notre Dame USC rivalry, it is on us. Honestly, I feel like we had the more part to play in the rivalry ending, because it's like, I know Marcus Freeman said, "Hey, we'll play you anytime, anywhere," but it's like but you tell him week 0, and it's like, why don't you play him in the middle of the season? Why don't you play him this time? And it's like, I don't know, you're giving them like it's an ultimatum, I guess, in that sense. So it wasn't fair for Notre Dame, because it's like USC, like we know you have a hard schedule. Like that's why I say, like, if it's an Urban Meyer led team, if it's a Mike Elko led team, they're not saying, oh, like, or if it's just the SEC team in general, they're not saying, oh, we got to travel here, oh, we have to travel far, or they're not complaining about the week 0. This, like, hey, we'll play you anywhere, anytime, and let's do it. So that was just, it was kind of terrible. Just have it in the middle of the season like it usually is. I don't want to see a USC Notre Dame game in the middle. I mean, in the week 0, bro. Like, are you serious? Like, that's not even rivalry week. Like, I get it. We play UCLA, but UCLA has been down in football forever. Notre Dame USC is the rivalry that we want. And then it's like USC fans try to play like that. I get it. It's across the town from USC and LA is across from each other. But it's like UCLA hasn't been good in football in forever. It's like beating up on your little brother a lot, and we want some competition in there. So it's like I get excited for beating UCLA, but I don't. Like, I want to beat Notre Dame. You know what I'm saying? A successful season is beating Notre Dame and UCLA. So we'll see. And ooh, Shane Beamer Beam, my boy Shane Beamer. I thought he was gonna get the Virginia Tech job because that's where his dad coached, but he was having a bad season at the time. I still thought he was gonna, you know, get that job, and just because they were just saying how it was going. I didn't know he was there. He's been at South Carolina for a minute. I think he was the coach after Spurrier, if I'm not mistaken, or yeah. So He's been there for a minute. He's recruited well. That's what he's known for. He gets guys into South Carolina, because hey, the Gamecocks. It's like if you don't know nothing about college football, really, like why would I go play for a school called the Gamecocks? But the culture and the fans are livid there, and they represent for South Carolina. So Shane Beamer on the hot seat, I would say, man, it would suck for. I would hate to see him lose a job because he's a wonder. He seems like a nice guy, and nice guys don't always last in this business. So I would love to see him still stay and succeed at South Carolina. Because who would you get after this in South Carolina? Who would wanna like? You're not gonna get a better recruiter, I don't think, to come into South Carolina. So let's see how they ride the ship. I think their over under is 6.5 this year. I think Sellers is a big key this year. Can he step up to be like a number one draft pick like his potential says he is? So that will be a teller of how the season goes. You're bringing back Nick Harbor, who is an absolute freak at the wide receiver position. That Texas A&M game when he just break, you saw what that man was capable of. So hopefully he puts it together, just dominates cornerbacks this year, and I can't wait to see what I see. Can't wait to see what Beamer and the boys do. Hopefully that's one boy. After 7 games, something like that, he gets his name off the hot seat. But for sure, coming into the season, I can't agree with Beamer being on the hot seat. And then, this one should be higher. I think this one should be 2 or 3. Bill O'Brien at Boston College. Um, Last year for me, y'all, they have a game where they represent or they they honor uh someone that someone that died in 9/11. He wore a red bandana in that game. It was a home game and it was just terrible, y'all. I think they got blown out, and that was just really sad to see, because that game they do honor people. So you just want the boys and the troops, you wearing some really cool uniforms, and it's a great cause behind it too. So, but after that game, I thought they were going to fire Bill O'Brien, and their first season was decent, and they brought in the Alabama transfer quarterback. I think his name was Dylan. Something, I think it started with a D or something like that. Lonergan, and he didn't come. He was expected to do more for Boston College, and it just fell apart right away. And they didn't have a very good season last year. So, and it's not like Boston. I don't know if Boston College is really for hockey. I think they're really for the hockey and everything. They're going to put their money into there. I don't know how much they're putting into their football program, but it's really about development there. And it's Bill O'Brien going to develop players at Boston College. You have to get, I think you have to get a young coach in there, sturdy, stocky guy. It's he someone that's going to develop players in there. So definitely not a scheme. I wouldn't get it. I wouldn't say at this point in time Boston College needs a former NFL head coach. I know he did coach at Penn State when the weird stuff was going on there. He coached after all that, but um yeah, I think Bill Bryan's time is definitely done at Boston College after this season for sure. They have to go a different direction. Derek Mason at Middle Tennessee. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't really follow up with Middle Tennessee that well, but Mason's hired. He's a former Vanderbilt coach. I mean, that's not really saying much because this is Vanderbilt has been having their best seasons now. So I mean, if you're that should already tell you the writing in the pudding if you hire another Vanderbilt coach. So hopefully Middle Tennessee can right the ship this year. And yeah, Wisconsin should be on this list too, though. Honestly, I was just thinking about it. With them, if Luke Fickle doesn't have a great year, it could be very scary for what they do there. And then Georgia State, they're a little small school too. I think they're the Blue Panthers. Shout out them. I think who they beat? They beat Vanderbilt last year, right? Or 2 years ago, and that's how they kind of got kicked out the playoffs. So hopefully Georgia State gets it right too. With those, I don't know. I forgot. I can't just call every small school in the MAC. I don't want to do that. The MAC is like the premium of small schools. It's like the creme de la creme of all small. The MAC. The MAC. Gotta love the MAC. You know what I'm saying? Shout out the MAC though, but I think they're in they might be in like Sun Belt. I think they're in the Sun Belt though, Georgia State. So Mike Locksley is on the hot seat too. I wouldn't expect him being on the hot seat with he just land they were sticking with them. I think it was a disappointing season this year, but they do have a really good he was a really good freshman quarterback last year, Malik Washington. He reminds me a little bit of C.J. Stroud, a little James Daniels, and seems like a pocket passer, can stand in there and throw that thing. So not just running it. So I'm excited to see more of Malik Washington. Hopefully Mike Locksley can develop him more, keep his job to see that because it doesn't seem like he's with the foolishness and all the other stuff. It's just about coaching with Mike. So shout out to him, and he just landed a he just landed a 5-star dude. So yeah, hopefully he keep his job, man. So okay, so Luke is on the list. So we got the top three. See who's number one. That boy I was talking about, Mike Norvell. Ooh, a buyout is 50 million for Mike Norvell. That is crazy. But Dave Arianda at Baylor. That's a very interesting one because you have DJ Lagway. I didn't know. Okay, his second year in 20 his second year at Baylor was a 12-2 record in the Big 12. 2021. I didn't know that about Dave Arianda and Baylor. I thought their best years were those 2010s with the chrome helmets, man. When RG3 was playing, that's when it was like I love college football when it was like Oregon with the colors and Baylor doing their thing and Alabama just on the rise and those are some good days of college football, man. But Dave Arianda, yeah, the ball, the the caramel milk, he's on the hot seat, man. So hopefully him and DJ Lagway can figure it out there in big Baylor and big Texas land, because a lot of Big 12 is very competitive. It seems like the playing field is very the same, or it's like it's leveled out. You got SMU still trying to fight in there. SMU's coach, I think they paid him already because I think he was getting shopped around a couple places. So SMU just paid him, but I don't know if SMU fans are sold on their coach at this point. So yeah, and you have TCU in there. They just lost their quarterback. So Baylor, it might be a time to step up in Texas in Big 12. You still have Texas Tech there, still saying something. Hey, we still here. We're the champs, So you got to go through Texas Tech to get where you want to go. I don't know what Baylor's expecting this year. Maybe better than 8 wins, somewhere around there, 7 wins. So we will see what the I'm wondering what the over under is for Baylor. So gotta go to Vegas and go bet on that. Shoot, gotta go take a trip to Vegas. Oh God, no, not just hey, yeah. But Lou Fickle at Wisconsin, man, y'all probably can't see all these, but yeah, it's probably so blurry for y'all. I apologize. I apologize. Y'all been probably seeing blanks, just like. But Luke Fickle at Wisconsin, he finishes last season at 4-8, and a lot of media is having they're excited for Luke Fickle, what he's going to do this year. They have high expectations for the Badgers, and I don't really think the Badgers are. I mean, I don't know. It's really about a development piece and what they brought in and what he's going to do with the guys. Like I think maybe he's developed them to win some games this year. But other than that, I don't have big expectations. So Luke Fickle, for sure on the hot seat. I would have put what's his name too, um, Bill O'Brien too, and I'll definitely put the Mississippi State head coach in here too because yeah, we don't know how he's gonna last in the SEC, and I don't know if you want to believe in him still. Like it definitely depends on how bad these losses are coming into Ole Miss. I don't really have faith in them beating Ole Miss. So maybe they brought in some recruits this year. I mean, some transfer portal guys that say, "Hey, we got to say so in this," and Mississippi State still has a say in who runs the state. So yeah, so we gonna end the video right there. But let me know who do y'all got on the hot seats this year. A sleeper, if you have a sleeper coach in there, let me know in the comments, y'all. But we are going to. Man, it's gonna be a long off season, but stick with me though.